We also face rival powers, Russia and China, that seek to challenge American influence, values, and wealth.
China and Russia might both be viewed as threats by the Trump administration, but in no way are they equal. In fact, China is nearly $560 billion more important. That's how much more the U.S. traded with China than with Russia in 2016. And that staggering amount of money supports entire industries in the U.S. Start with the simple soybean. $14 billion worth was unloaded at Chinese ports like this one in 2016, good enough to make it the top U.S. export to China last year. The Chinese soybean processing industry is already the largest in the world, and it's going to keep getting bigger, and American farmers are well positioned to take advantage of that growth. The U.S. Soybean Export Council expects U.S. exports of soybeans to keep rising for at least the next 20 years. And it's not just farmers reaping the benefits.
Your diner and your doctors and your and other companies.
Which is why all this talk of a looming U.S.-China trade war is Burke's biggest concern. A U.S. trade investigation into Chinese intellectual property theft, new duties on Chinese aluminum foil imports, and a formal national security strategy document that referred negatively to China no less than 24 times could signal what many have long awaited. Hardline rhetoric on the campaign trail, turning into harder line policy. But China won't take that lying down. The Soybean Export Council was told as much by Chinese officials during a September meeting.
If there was increased trade tensions, if that soybeans could likely be a potential target in any type of Chinese retaliation.
Restrictions on market access could devastate U.S. industry. And it's not just soy. Other industries and companies could be government targets too. Think Apple or Boeing or Cisco, pawns in a potential trade war with lots of influence back home.
They understand very clearly the political pressure points in the U.S., whether it's in Congress or in local state houses, and certainly to the White House.
A recent survey shows the majority of U.S. companies in China think trade between both countries isn't fair. They want things to change, but nobody wants a trade war. To achieve both, any new U.S. policies will have to walk a fine line, as thin as a flake of soybean. Matt Rivers, CNN, Qinhuangdao, China.